Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be finally shooting this video. Today's video is pretty exciting, and it is to all people who are interested in occupational therapy or newly admitted students who are going to be starting occupational therapy. Hello, hi, welcome. This is going to be the most life-changing experience that you're going to have, and it's going to be the most amazing. Have fun and enjoy, and yeah, let us get into it. So one of my favorite things about occupational therapy, which I never knew when I was going into occupational therapy, I only knew when I went to go shadow, but also when I shadowed just one aspect of occupational therapy. So we get to work with mental health care users. So that is the likes of your psych patients, substance-induced psychosis, bipolar, personality disorders. We get to go into psychiatric institutions, and we have to act normal and be around mental health care users. It's not an easy thing, but it's definitely a very exciting and very cool to see how complex the human mind is and how it manifests itself if mental health is compromised. So this was one of my favorite things about occupational therapy. Psych was the most difficult, but the most interesting and the most exciting. Yeah, so definitely you will enjoy it if you like psych, but if you're not so much, you'll just learn how to cope with it. So in mental health institutions, we help the patients with a lot of socially appropriate behavior, with insights, with running groups, with making sure they are engaging in constructive use of leisure and not destructive use of leisure, that they are insightful about their condition and the medication that they need to take and how often that they need to take this medication, and making sure that they are active, because sometimes one of the side effects of medication is that the patients actually pick up weight. So we show them new and good habits, and try and teach them how not to let their environment affect them and get them back into this repetitive cycle of coming in and out of mental institutions, making sure that they're able to do their basic needs and that they are taking care of themselves and that they're taking care of their mental health, and that we are actually providing their family with information as well, so that they are able to provide support and a support system that is going to facilitate the mental health care user to be more aware of their condition and how not to repeat the cycle of coming back to a mental institution. It's a very interesting topic. And yeah, another thing about occupational therapy school that I didn't know was that we need to be very creative, and it's kind of showing in now as you go out into the workplace that occupational therapy needs you to be very creative, because sometimes the hospitals don't have the resources that you need. And when you're sitting with a patient right here and they have come all the way from home, mind you, we know how the socioeconomic status is of many of our patients, and you can't just turn them back and say, oh well, I don't have splinting material, you can go home. You have to be somewhat very creative. And I never thought I was creative, to be honest, but now having had to go through occupational therapy, I'm still finding my feet in being very creative, just learning how to do things in an unconventional way to help another person, instead of just turning them back and saying, look, I don't have this, so there it is. So occupational therapy school teaches you to be very creative and to think on your feet and we're basically problem solvers, so we have to be a little bit creative in order to fulfill that side of our job. Another thing that I was really creeped out about, but I was so excited about, we get to dissect. So in first year, we got to dissect a rat, and we had to learn the reproductive system of the rat. We had to learn everything about that rat, and we had to be very delicate in our dissecting. And then in second year, you actually dissect a cadaver, which is dead bodies. And we were in just this lab in medical school, and there are cadavers everywhere, and you just have to get in there. For me, that was my favorite thing. I think I mentioned that I thoroughly enjoyed anatomy, and actually dissecting was my favorite. I loved it. It was just so interesting to just, you know, go into the human body and actually look at all the muscle, at all the nerves, at the ligaments, and it was just the most interesting thing. The best part for me was the brain. Oh my goodness, like neuroanatomy was everything. So you get to dissect, and it is a little bit creepy, but I mean, you get into the gist of things. And if you don't enjoy it, make sure that you find something about going down there that's going to keep you sustained for the rest of the year, because it does get a lot. It will make everything so much better for you. Another thing about occupational therapy that I didn't know was the fact that you will have incidences with patients, especially if you are treating somebody who is physically challenged. There is moments and aspects of fluids just getting everywhere, and you need to be able to respectfully be able to help your clients and not make them feel uncomfortable, because I mean, they are going through so much already, and just when they have mistakes in terms of fluids that pass by mistake, or actual feces that pass while you're busy doing an activity, or while you're busy transferring the patient, you know, try your best to really understand that you are here to help them. You're not there to make them feel any worse than they already feel. So incidences are likely to happen with urine, feces, blood, but definitely there is a protocol that we all follow. Please be mindful and make sure that you are following the proper procedures and the proper protocol in terms of that. Please make sure you wear your gloves when you see patients, and please make sure you protect yourself and wear masks, especially when you are dealing with patients with TB. You have to protect yourself in order to be the best help to your clients, and you protecting yourself is you protecting the clients essentially. So whenever an incident does happen, make sure that you communicate it to the hospital staff that is there, and make sure that you communicate it with your lecturers and as well. Don't go through things like just by yourself, because these things do happen, and we're human, we're bound to make mistakes, and we just need to be a little bit more responsible in terms of making sure that you are not putting yourself in danger, and you're not putting your patient in danger as well. And mind you, when a person is in hospital for a serious condition, their immune system is a little bit weak. So by you wearing a mask when you have flu, or when you know you're coming up with like some illness, it's good, because then you're protecting your clients in that case. I know there's a little bit of it's an uncomfortable topic, because some patients actually find it offensive when you put a mask or when you put on gloves, but you just politely explain to them that it is protocol and it is procedure. It is in your best interest that I also protect you from the other patients that I'm seeing, or from my illnesses as well. So You will obviously learn how to handle that situation, but please be mindful that these kinds of incidences do happen, and make sure that you are communicating with your lecturers and your friends about these things. Don't let them pile up, and because you'll explode if you let them pile up. You can also find yourself in a situation where you have to assist your clients during a therapy session to go to the bathroom. When you help somebody go to the bathroom and maybe there's like nurses are not there to assist you. Usually nurses, our MVPs, are always there to help us with those kinds of things, but sometimes there are patients who are a little bit more independent in terms of that. So be generous, and please don't make patients feel uncomfortable when situations like that arise, because they're also human. And it's really nice to know that my therapist is really like cool and they're able to help me with things that I'm unable to do. Another thing that kind of freaked me out, but is actually a really cool topic that as therapists we have to kind of speak about and do, is sexual activity. We have to make sure that we are asking about sexual activity, because it is a part of human nature. And just because your patient is on a wheelchair or they're in hospital or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that we can't talk about this. And it's really important for you also as a therapist or a student to kind of facilitate that conversation, because we are still a little bit, you know, behind in terms of speaking openly about sex. But our patients need our help, because we are educated in knowing how best to assist our clients when it comes to sexual activity. And maybe a patient who has a newly acquired spinal cord injury, and they would like to know how about do they go this, kind of figuring out positions and talking about the level of fatigue. Because I mean, if somebody has lost their functioning from the waist down, their upper body becomes their everything. And it does kind of take a little bit of getting used to. And when your upper body is doing all the work, there are moments where the patient will be fatigued, and we kind of have to see how best to still engage in sexual activity, but having talked about all the other things and laid them on the cards that, you know what, maybe it would be better for you to rest before you engage in sexual activities, because you'll get tired during the act. Like, it is really deep, like, and it's serious, and it is something that we really need to be sensitive about, but we must not neglect it. I truly was a little bit uncomfortable in terms of speaking about sexual activity and those, but I mean, with my younger patients it was better, but uncomfortable, but better. But it does become a little bit like challenging or difficult when you're speaking to, like, you know, like grown-ups about it. But you are the therapist, and you're just gonna have to do the things. Another thing about occupational therapy that I wasn't really aware of is that we are the most bad problem solvers. Like, if we look at a problem and we have to find a solution, that's what we are, that's what we do, and it comes in the most creative ways. So occupational therapy requires for you to be a problem solver, not a problem starter. So please be mindful of that, and always kind of look at a situation and tell yourself, okay, I see the problem, but where is the solution? And I promise you, you find it. Somehow you are able to just come up with the most incredible ideas And it's actually the best part about occupational therapy and the most crucial part about occupational therapy. And that kind of sums up things that I didn't know about occupational therapy before I started it. But it's really cool things, and it's really things that I hope that you will learn from and you will enjoy. And thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and please share the video, and enjoy the year of studying for occupational therapy. And congratulations once again for making it. This is going to be revolutionary, like the best decision that you've ever made. Occupational therapy is definitely gonna change your life. So enjoy, happy dissecting, and happy problem solving. Bye.